You're listening to the Wanderlust Swingers podcast with Aussie hosts Kate and Daryl. If you're curious about exploring your sexuality or the swinging, hotwifing and non-monogamous lifestyle, you've definitely come to the right podcast. Or maybe you just love travel adventures. Either way, we share our personal, sometimes juicy, sexy stories as well as swingers club and event reviews, interviews with other sassy people, and of course our global swinging adventures. We try to bring you a look into the diverse lifestyle that the swinging and non-monogamous community has. We hope you enjoy. Now let's get into the episode. G'day guys and welcome back to Wanderlust Swingers. Episode 150, we're doing a review of the Fun4Two, which is a swingers club here in the Netherlands. Welcome back to the podcast, Daryl.
I went to the personal trainer.
You went to the personal trainer, how was it?
It was good, but, you know, like personal trainers do, he challenged me, so.
Yeah, but when was the last time you actually did?
It's been a little while.
So we're going to be talking about the Fun4Two Swingers Club here in the Netherlands. We had a chance to go there recently, and we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I have some cultural tidbits about Rotterdam.
Oh.
Yeah, so the club is actually located in Rotterdam, and I have two cultural tidbits about Rotterdam for you. Are you excited?
I am. I just can't wait. Your cultural tidbits are the only reason I keep coming back to this podcast. Right?
Most of the inhabitants of Rotterdam are 25 to 45 years old. 40% of the population, in fact.
Well, that's not most. That's a large minority, but not most.
Yeah.
That's a lot, though.
That's high. It's the highest population in that age bracket in the whole of the Netherlands.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the top number one cultural tidbit, because if that's the case, number two, I'm not looking forward to it.
I thought that was relevant because of the fact that I thought it was a younger, hip, more attractive kind of crowd.
That's just because I was there.
In Rotterdam.
When I turned up, the whole place got more attractive.
Yeah, cool.
By 3%.
My second cultural tidbit, let me see if you know what this is. There is a statue that the locals have nicknamed the gnome butt plug. Have you ever seen a meme of the gnome and its little butt plug statue next to it circling the internet around Christmas time?
No.
You've never seen that meme?
No.
Well,
I don't frequent Facebook.
This whole thing just is shit now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, your first one was pretty crap. This is number two. Fuck it all. I'm glad we're not doing number three.
Listen, if you guys are out there listening and you know what I'm talking about, the gnome butt plug. So there was a statue that was erected and designed by Paul McCarthy.
Erected.
Yeah, erected. And it is unfortunate because the Christmas tree next to the gnome actually looks like
a butt plug.
A giant butt plug.
Giant butt plug?
Let's just take a second.
Hang on. Step it back a second.
Yeah.
It's a gnome butt plug.
No, it's
Does everybody hear that typing?
Does everybody
hear that typing? This is my life. I mean, Kate is a very passionate typer. She types so hard, she's worn the letters off the keys off two keyboards in under a year. And one of them was a laptop keyboard. I mean, this is some fairly robust typing.
Here it is, babe. Ready?
Got it.
Looks like a butt plug.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a small butt plug, is it?
It's a giant butt plug.
It's a huge butt plug. Yeah, but I mean, when you say gnome,
it's supposed to be a Christmas tree.
When you say gnome,
I said a gnome standing next to a butt plug.
Yeah, but okay, so it's scale. Gnomes are normally, that's a fucking huge gnome.
It's a fucking huge butt plug.
Well, the butt plug's bigger than the gnome.
Anyway, guys.
Why the fuck is a gnome carrying a Christmas tree butt plug around?
Well, ask the dude.
Who was it? Paul who?
Paul McCarthy.
Not Paul McCartney.
No,
because he's a different dude.
Different one.
Yeah. He's more known for musical butt plugs.
Less
gnomey butt plugs.
Yeah. Bucket of a lubo.
Yeah. Well, patience and lubricant. You can stretch a mosquito's arsehole over a bucket.
Hey, do you want to tell everybody about the single guy date we went on?
Do I want to? Yes, I think this guy needs to send references to other people on how to actually do single guy dating.
And what would you say, if you were to give like one piece of advice, like what would you say was his thing that he did that was like the gold star piece of advice that you want to give to other single guys out there?
He asked about us, and then he volunteered information about himself in terms of what he was into. Now, let me be specific here. He wasn't talking about, he's into a finger in his arsehole whilst he's shagging. He was talking about what he actually enjoys in life. He enjoys people that he can converse with. He enjoys having jokes. He enjoys cocktails. He just spoke like a regular person and also kept it sexy. It wasn't that he was just talking about, let's just let this happen.
Hey, Penny, you see that massively beautiful, fluffy bed that's expensive that's sitting like a metre away?
But she's found a pillow that has corduroy pattern on it, so she's really enjoying a scratch at that.
Yeah, Mum, nah, this $5 pillow is better. Hey, Mum, yeah. Thanks for buying me that expensive ass bed, Mum, but this fucking pillow that's jammed up against the radiator is the best one. Yeah, thanks, Mum.
So I think he was just, for starters, he was very polite. It was very obvious about what he wanted. He was very keen to know more about you, about your interests. He was keen to know more about what I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, all in all, he just acted like a human.
So
not like a raging fucking gnome butt plug that's just trying to fuck anything he can get his hands on.
True enough. So that's your gold star piece of advice.
Like, just don't be a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also did explain a little bit about when he was talking about things that he likes. He did go into some detail about the women in terms of like how they dress, how they appear.
Yeah. I mean, but there was nothing inherently sexual about what he said. It was sexy.
Yeah, it was sexy.
Yeah, he said like
explain what he said.
He said I like ladies in dresses with enough underwear underneath so I can sort of see the lines and imagine what's happening. What else? I'd have to.
He said
get my
no
phone
makeup.
out. He said no. He said not too much makeup because I like to see who you are. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, yeah, I think everyone's entitled to their preference. And if you're a heavy makeup wearer and that's not for you, then you just say no, right? And just say, I'm a fucking heavy makeup wearer.
Yeah.
Suck a dick.
Suck a dick.
And he'd be like, okay, well.
How about I suck a gnome butt plug and we'll call it a day?
We're probably not going to get on. So, have sex somewhere else.
Hey, it is June. Sorry, it is July. It is July, guys. And
fucking elbow.
Yeah, I know.
Only for a few days now.
And some rather unfortunate news just came out of the United States, and I just want to just give some airtime to this real quick, and it was Roe v. Wade. So if you've been following this being overturned in the US, goes without saying that it is a horrible situation, and we are thinking about every uterus owner that's in the United States, and hopefully something more positive comes out of this and it can get overturned. So, yeah. Now, we are heading to London in September. We're going to London to Le Boudoir Club because we are hosting a meet, mingle and event with the Bed Hoppers podcast.
I've been there before.
You've been there.
I've done it.
Jolly old London.
Yeah, I've got this T-shirt even.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Went there, you got the T-shirt.
Okay. So if you guys are interested in joining us, it is in September. You can head to our website, wanderlustswingers.com, look at the event, and we are hosting a fun weekend with the Bed Hoppers podcast. We'd love to see you guys.
A weekend? It's a weekend? I thought it was a night.
Well, it's an official night, but like we're all going to be there for the weekend. So if you're joining us...
What about if I don't want to hang out with cunts for the whole weekend?
Well, then you can sit in the room and masturbate and I'll go hang out with cunts for the weekend.
All right. We got ourselves a deal.
I know. You're like, fucking sounds like a party to me.
Man, the amount of jerking off I can get done and like there's no, when you're in a hotel room, there's no need for cleanup. You're just like a man sprinkler.
You just wipe it on the chairs, the couches, the walls.
Curtains.
Yeah.
Carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Well, I mean, you don't wipe it on there. That's what you use to masturbate, isn't it?
Just fucking rubbing yourself on the walls. Just put lube everywhere.
You shine a black light inside any hotel room, and that's basically what you see anyway. It's just spunt everywhere. It's spuntastic.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. You know those like cheap ass sprinklers, the green ones that you had as a kid? They roll up and you put the hose through.
Yeah, sprinkler hose.
Real cheap ones.
Sprinkler hose.
Right, okay. One of those nailed to the ceiling a little bit on the walls and filled with lube. And then you can just, because you're going to rub yourself up against the wall. You
don't want too much lube.
You can just have it
There's such a thing
trickling
as too
down.
Much lube.
And then you've just got like lubrication on the wall for you to rub yourself and jerk off.
Too much lube.
That's too much?
You need a bit of friction.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to the occasional tooth in a head job, you know. Yeah, you don't want a little bit of friction, a little bit of...
Hey, it's over 10 minutes in. Do you want to talk about the club?
Oh, I mean, if we have to.
Okay, let's do it.
I was still jerking off in the room.
So what we're saying is if you want to come and spend some time with Mr. and Mrs. H and me in London whilst Daryl...
Or if you want to come inside my room...
Whilst you know Daryl's in the bedroom jerking off all over the furniture. Hey, let's talk about the Swingers Club. So this is called the Fun4Two Swingers Club. And if you look up Swingers Club in the Netherlands, there are a few that come up, and this is one of the most popular ones that
In the Netherlands?
In the Netherlands, yeah. In the show notes, I will put all the links to the club, etc. if you guys want to go check it out. But you do have to register online first if you're going on a weekend. So unlike some clubs where it's just open to arrive, you do actually have to register online before you go. It is couples only on the weekends, except for...
No, Fridays.
Fridays are...
Do we include Friday nights as weekends? I mean, that's the real question.
I don't think we've got enough time to answer that on the podcast today.
Yeah, good question. Good point.
Okay, let's just say Saturday nights are couples only.
Yeah, okay. And Sundays.
I actually don't know. So they do a Sunday pool event in summer, but I don't know whether they're couples only on those Sundays.
So basically what you're saying is you know fuck all about this club with the exception of the fact that on a Saturday night it's couples only.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all on the same page now. Tuesdays,
Yep.
definitely closed.
So what I will say, actually, I don't know about that, man. Maybe. Who knows?
Why did you call me man?
What I will say is that it opens at 9 and there is inclusive, like pricing is all inclusive, right? So it's all food and alcohol and everything else. What time did we get there? About 9:30? And how long do you think we waited in line for?
Jesus, Kate, I'm 47. I can't remember this shit.
You can't remember how long we waited there?
We didn't wait in line for long. It was maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, dude, it was 20 at least.
Why did you fucking ask me then? Why did you ask me if you're like, I know the time?
You're seriously lowballing it, man.
I think it might have felt longer for somebody who was dressed inappropriately for the weather. Right?
Who was that idiot?
Oh, I don't know. Who was that idiot? Who thought, I'll just leave my jacket in the car when it's fucking 15 degrees outside? You know, it'll be fine. We'll just walk straight in. We'll just waltz in. Don't they know who we are?
Yeah.
Didn't work like that, did it?
No.
No, you spent 15 minutes waiting in the cold. Hence, it felt like 20 to 25 for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to avoid waiting in line, I would suggest that you actually get there at 9 when it opens.
It wasn't that bad a fucking line. Jeez. Complain much?
Yeah.
They kept the line moving. It was fairly steady in the way it went. It was a good, sturdy British queue.
If you've been there before, you get a membership card. So the second time you go back, you don't have to wait.
You got a second line.
They got
a membership line.
You got a fucking quick line.
Yeah.
That's what I was on about.
Absolutely. VIP line.
No, obviously talking in Dutch, and I was like, why is this line moving quicker? What's going on? Somebody, excuse me, anyone, hello, what's happening with that line?
You didn't actually say that to anyone, though. That all happened inside your own head.
Yeah.
Oh, you asked me a couple of times. Why is that line moving faster?
I did look at the guy next to me. And
I'm like, I don't know. We've been here 25 minutes.
And I shrugged. And I was like, oi, shrug.
Oh, shrug. The international symbol for why is that line moving so much faster?
Exactly. Why is that line? So the pricing is all inclusive. It is €150 though. How do you feel about that? Like when you think about the prices around clubs around the world that we've been to.
I think it's actually quite cheap.
You think it's cheap?
Well, think about it this way, right? If you go, so the clubs in the US are generally much lower price to get in.
I think Colette's about 90, so let's go by the 90 versus 150.
Yeah, so Euro and US at the moment are basically the same.
Yeah.
There's fuck all difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, I don't know, world shit fight economy. So they're basically the same at the moment. So you're paying that much money, then the cost of drinks in the US absolutely would tip you over the top of that.
Well, but most clubs in the US are BYO.
Are they?
Mm-hmm, but...
Colette isn't it?
100% BYO in all 4 locations of Colette.
Oh, really? Fuck. Well, there you go.
What you're thinking about is the fact that on New Year's we spent $100 just on soft drink.
Yeah, so quick update, right? When I say drink, I'm all-inclusive drink. I mean, I'm not talking about just drinking vodka straight from a fucking plastic bottle that you've just gotten from Walmart, you know, like a 6 fucking litre plastic bottle. Yeah, that doesn't even have a proper handle on it. So you try and neck it and then you get so drunk that your hand doesn't grip properly anymore. And then it falls out of your hand and you end up walking around with half a bottle jammed down your throat looking for the Heimlich to get rid of this massive bottle of vodka.
Right, so carry on. You were saying by the time you spend money on drinks.
Yeah, so I mean, I was talking about the entirety of a drink, you know, including the fucking ice.
I was going to say, do you want ice?
And mixer, not just the.
You can have fucking 1 cube for $1. That's all you're allowed.
Yeah. So once you add all that in, even some of the cheaper clubs, you get very close to that. And they were well staffed, and the cocktails were good, and they had decent cocktails as well. Not a broad spread, but they did have some cocktails, and they also did mixers and all the standard shit. we drank mixers all night because you didn't go to the bar, not even once, and you kept sending me, and I didn't know what to say in fucking Dutch because my Dutch is fucking terrible because Dutch is so close to German that I know enough German to fuck the Dutch up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got told today that they're frenemies language-wise.
Oh.
Because you can't trust if you know the German words, it means nothing in Dutch, but they're so close to sounding the same.
Frenemies.
Stupid languages.
And it does have food there as well. I mean, we didn't partake in the food.
You didn't.
You didn't either.
Yeah, I did.
You did not.
Smashed a kebab up the back.
You're a fucking liar, mate. You did not.
Fuck, I could go a kebab.
Yeah, no. So if you were going to go there at 9 and take advantage of like the food and get the drinks and stuff
It's
like
a proper
that,
restaurant, like a
it's a proper
yeah,
restaurant.
like a proper not a buffet.
there was a buffet section.
Was there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So as you kind of walk in and you do the registration thing, this club has a lot of ups and downs.
man, it's got some really cool little nickety-knackety places,
And it
right?
fucking does. And we're going to talk about the playrooms pretty soon.
Are we? In this episode, or is this a... Because I want to do it to be continued. That nothing fucking pisses people off more than a to be to continue.
So they give you a locker key, and I have to say, this locker key was off the fucking charts. This was single-handedly the best locker area I've seen at any clubs in the world. Hands down, period, full stop, exclamation mark.
Cool. The locker area was fucking so chic.
It wasn't about the chicness. It was about the fact that they had about 300 lockers to begin with.
Not about. They had 330 lockers, in fact.
They had 330
Well,
lockers.
that's how many keys they had. So I'm guessing, through my powers of deduction...
They had 229 lockers. Let's go spare key to fuck with somebody.
They just give it to the person who's being the biggest ass in the line.
in
That
the
one
line.
who keeps fucking asking,
The one who's
why is that
shrugging.
line moving faster than this line using their international shrug symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I liked about it is the fact that the keys were all color-coded, numbered obviously, but color-coded, and so were the rooms. So all the lockers were painted like red, but the room was painted red.
Well, it wasn't just the room. I mean, all the fixtures in the room were red as
Everything
well.
was fucking red. And so it was like, oh,
And green
you had a
and
blue
blue
one, you
and-
go to the blue section.
Oh, no, it's crazy. It's almost like they did it for fucking infants.
Fucking genius is what it was.
Says the infant in the room.
I was like, this is brilliant. Thank you very much. Well, clubs don't, Jen. I mean, you got to, sometimes you're first in, best dressed.
Sometimes I'm so wasted, says Kate, that I'm unable to find the right place for my locker key, and I spend all night walking around with one locker key, poking it into 329 lockers.
Here's the thing. Most of the clubs I've been to have very few lockers. They definitely don't match the volume of people in the club. So you've really got to get there early to get a locker if you want one. Secondly, a lot of the clubs don't have locks on the locker. So you have to bring your own or buy one at the front.
Get out. Or hire one at the front.
There is, like the London club, they take a key deposit. You give the key back, you get the deposit back. I have no problems with that. But the fact that there were so many lockers there that you knew everyone could get one.
Dude, can we get past the fucking lockers already? I mean...
Okay, fine.
You're so impressed by the lockers. Do you want to talk about the thatched roof outside before we got in and how blown away you were that it's actually made of straw? Like, what? People make fucking roofs out of straw? What is this fucking magic?
The grounds are actually pretty cool. I hope to do a YouTube walkthrough there. But anyway, okay, we will move on.
Thank fuck, says everybody.
In that YouTube video, I'll try to get some of the footage of the lockers.
Hey, you haven't done the YouTube video yet? Stop fucking promising something. It's like that you might say, hey, Mr. Club, can we do a YouTube video of your club? And they go, no, fuck off. And you'll be like, oh, no. How am I going to get the 329 lockers and one spare key on the video?
Break in.
You'll just have to situate.
I'll break in on a Tuesday.
Just cram a video in between your tits and just wander around with a camera.
I'm going to let you take the entire next segment because I want you to talk about the pushy dude.
I can't get past the lockers. I mean, I just need to talk another half hour about those.
I want you to talk about the pushy dude and the unsuspecting Belgium lady, please.
The pushy dude.
Yeah, I got the really pushy dude and unsuspecting Belgium lady. That's in my notes.
Cool. So the pushy dude. We were when we first arrived, Kate needed to warm up. What was wrong with me? I wasn't feeling well or something.
You weren't feeling well.
I wasn't feeling well, yeah. So it wasn't geared up to be a huge night to start with, but I wasn't feeling well. So we sort of sat down. We thought we'll have a couple of drinks and chipper ourselves up a little bit, or me especially, and then from there we'll see what the night turns into. So we picked a part of the just off the dance floor, I suppose, where you have a opening that you can see through to the dance floor, so you can see what's going on. You can see everybody in the club, basically, but it's a little bit kind of pushed away in an area that people would have to come hunting you to find you, basically. When we were sitting there looking through this hole, this dude wandered over and just started talking to us through the hole.
Mm-hmm.
But he was really aggressive in his sexuality, like in the what he wanted. He's like really pushy around. What are you guys into?
Well, I think his opening line to us, and I mean, he's not wrong. We were sitting off to the side on our own, but his opening line was something.
Why are you sitting out and
akin
out
to
there?
like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Twats.
Yeah. Could have been our first time at a club for all he knew. We were really shy,
Yeah. So he didn't kick it off terribly well, honestly. But his body language was really aggressive. Like he was constantly reaching out. Well, actually, when he first arrived, he reached out to touch you. Basically straight away.
Which was like a meter away.
Yeah.
Like it was a long reach.
Yeah, it was a big reach. So it was like, here's my arm on my way to you. And Kate just politely leaned backwards away from it. But he was really aggressive, and it didn't stop all night. In fact, it was one of the downers of the evening, I think. And it was one of the things that kept pushing me backward from having a good time, because you just sort of start getting to enjoy what's happening, and then he'd come back in again. But he was there with his partner, who was who actually. So when he was talking to us through the hole, we were polite and just responding to his questions and stuff. And she was standing around the corner, hidden from us, and she kind of came around and almost tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Let's fuck off," basically. And then he left with her. But that happened a few times throughout the night. And the final time, she spat it and just fucking left. Like just left him there alone. And it very much appeared like he was just the one who was shoving this whole lifestyle down her throat, and she wasn't particularly interested in being involved.
Yeah.
She was lovely. I mean, I spoke to her for a little while, and she was really quite nice in terms of, she was just a normal human.
Yeah, she was nice, but neither of them were attractive to me. I would not have ever.
No, not at all.
No,
they weren't sexually attractive either. But she was a nice human. He was just weird and weirdly aggressive, body language and everything. Something you have forgotten is the fact that two guys walked in. Two guys who were struggling a little bit in terms of the ratio between them and the ladies they were with.
I'm so fucking gullible. I don't know what's
It was
up.
like a 1.5 versus a 12 in terms of, on the hotness ratio. And Kate's like, wow, look at those guys have done so well for themselves. I'm like, babe, they're obviously sex workers. And she's like, no. I said, look at everyone around this whole fucking club right now. Just about everyone in the club was looking at them going, point, eye movements, point. It was so obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, these two ladies were so well put together, and the two gentlemen were so well not put together. It was just crazy obvious.
No, it was that was no good. That was no good. Speaking
Why
about,
wasn't that good?
Because it was weird, because then they just sat there, the two men sat there talking to
each other.
themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that was weird.
What's the point of spending money on a sex worker to bring them to a swingers club to then just sit there and talk to your mate?
Maybe they just were really fucking into the
Atmosphere?
No, the
Free
lockers.
drinks? Yeah. I come for the sex workers, I stay for the lockers.
Exactly.
So this happened with these two people, happened a number of times throughout the evening, but at 10:30, 11, there is a mandatory dress down that happens at this club.
For all.
For everybody.
Male and female.
Male and female. So every single person
Which is
in
the
that
first
club.
time I've had to do that. I actually don't like dress downs generally.
So,
right?
Tell me about what you think about it.
So I think I've come out and said this previously. Dress downs, forced dress downs to me are a little bit, they just feel a little fake, right? Forcing, and it's generally ladies that get forced to dress down. I find it a little, it's forced, so it feels a little forced. And this is the first time I've had to do it as well, and it felt even more forced when I have to do it. It's just not, it just seems weird.
You kind of begrudgingly take yourself off to the fucking awesome locker room.
Oh, man. That was actually another chance to get back to the locker room now that you think about it.
Yeah,
actually, no, it's worth it for the dress down's worth it
trip.
just to get back to the lockers.
So how did you feel about it?
I thought I just told you.
Yeah.
It feels forced and fake. I don't like it. I don't like the dress down.
Okay.
So the other thing is that the dress down is supposed to go along with a song that they put on, right? We didn't know what the fucking song was. That's a bit of a giveaway. It's a Dutch song as well. So even if we knew the name of the song, we wouldn't know the fucking.
No, all of a sudden there was just more and more people in lingerie, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then I shrugged at somebody,
and they said, "You got dressed down.
Yeah.
Go dress down."
Mm-hmm.
But that was actually an excuse that gave us. I don't know whether you remember. It gave us an excuse to run away from that couple again.
It did. So let's move on. Let's just start talking about the playroom and stuff.
I mean, I just wanted to play in the locker rooms all night, just pushing that key in and out of, locker 229.
Trying the red key in the purple area, like trying to be a bit taboo with it. Lubing it up, seeing if it maybe feels right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my night.
Wants to bat for the other side.
Yep. And here I am just jerking off in one of the little rooms.
No, so we got changed into our lingerie, but rather than going directly back downstairs.
Fucking lingerie. Well, I mean, what?
Rather than going back downstairs, we decided to take a tour of the playrooms before they got too busy, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain to people what?
No, I can't because there's so many fucking rooms. It's too hard to explain.
Yeah, so like what generally
Let me start at the basement, right? Because you can go downstairs or you can go upstairs twice inside this club. And it's all built inside a very old, I'm going to say 16th century castle. Castle's not the right word. Maybe very rich house. I don't fucking know what you'd call it. But yeah, it was, so down into the basement, there's all these little, so it's all really rabbit warren-y. Like a lot of it's not very, there's not very many open spaces. There's one really. But we missed a whole part of the club. I don't know whether you even realise that. You don't realise
the little
that.
town looking thing.
Yeah, there's a whole fucking French town in there.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got to go back and figure that out.
Yeah, there's a French, like a literal little street village inside the club. There's no pool, there's no jacuzzi or spa or anything down there. No hot tub.
Well, everything's on the second level, so there is no down. Everything's on the second level, so you've got to go upstairs into the near the locker area through the timber doors and into this.
Yeah, but then you go downstairs when you get in there. There's a downstairs from there.
No, there's an upstairs, which is the ladder, and then out there's a thing, and then you overlook the top of the dance floor.
French little village thing.
So it is a rabbit warren of playrooms.
Yeah, but they're all really cool though. Like they're all, some of them are peephole places. There's others that
there's
are
a lot. Yeah, so there's, like you said, there was one main open area, I guess, with some beds around it, but there were all of the other rooms had a lot of peepholes. So there was nothing that was like.
Then there was an orgy room that was like built into the loft.
So there's this maze-like area. It's all the walls are black, the ceiling's black. Penny's getting comfortable on a corduroy pillow again, and it's quite, I guess, dark, but it's quite narrow. The different areas around the playroom are actually quite narrow. So it is interesting. So there's this maze-like playroom.
Yeah, you go out into people.
You go out of the playroom, and there's a balcony overlooking the dance floor, so you can fuck over the dance floor. This balcony,
and there were people doing that actually.
So what I did find a little bit weird about this particular playroom was that there was random rolls of paper towel just lying around the place. I thought that was a bit.
I have a problem with that.
You didn't have a problem with that.
Well, I mean,
they did have a towel tower though, so that was nice.
Somehow you think, having any sort of toilet style paper or paper in general around the room is somehow weird. I mean, I think it's great. Clean up.
Cool.
Job done.
Cool.
Biff, baff, boff, out the door.
So they did have a towel tower as well, which I thought was quite good. Hey, you can tell people about the orgy room now.
We didn't orgy though. We did an orgy in the orgy room because it was empty.
I didn't realize it was an orgy room,
except for the fact that it said orgy-matic over carved into the room.
I saw that later.
Yeah. You should probably take notice of those sorts of things before you wander into a room.
So there's this set of spiral stairs that kind of go up to the locker area and playroom area, and then as you kind of come out this playroom area, there is a ladder, and it's a literal ladder. Like
it's not. It's stairs.
It's not a stair.
It is stairs.
Okay, fine.
In a very steep
ladder-like appearance.
Yes, they're stairs. A ladder has a very different idea behind it, right?
Okay.
There's no back to a ladder.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to then make it so people can understand what I'm talking about. Would you say it's the equivalent of one of those attic things in the movies where the horror people are up in the attic bit and the person has to pull down the trapdoory thing and the ladder comes out?
No, because
It was pretty similar to that, like the same size as that.
it's the same steepness
and same size of the little stairy bits.
Yes, but it is very similar to that, but it's not a ladder.
Okay. It's built
It's a
in.
very steep staircase.
Okay, fine. That is similar shaped to a ladder.
Similar elevation to a ladder, yes.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm wearing heels, but fine, let's give this a crack.
You took your fucking heels off.
I took them off on the way down because I was like, that shit's death.
How is it any different?
It just is.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about what you are referring to as a ladder. You have to go down a ladder backwards.
Which we did.
Yeah, but how's it?
Going up a ladder with heels on, I mean, correct me, people out there listening, if you've been up and down a ladder with heels on, I don't know.
All the times I've been up and down a ladder with heels on, I've been fucking fine.
Anyway, so I'm like, let's go see. Well, I want to check out this whole club, so let's go see what's up there. And so we make our way up.
Do you want to talk about how you complain profusely about having to wear heels all night because #COVID has fucking stopped every woman in the world from ever wanting to wear heels again? Which I don't really have a problem with. Except
I don't think I actually complained that night. I complained incessantly at PCAP because I was like, nah. Nah.
Okay. So it's actually just become part of your standard repertoire then. You don't even recognise it as complaining anymore.
Okay, I don't maybe.
Yeah.
So we go up there and this is obviously this is in the attic bit. It's at the top of the
so
club.
it's a regular staircase. It's just Kate needed a reason to take her fucking heels off.
It's not a regular staircase.
I'm kidding. This is a joke. This is a joke.
Nah.
That's called a joke.
Joke gone sideways. So we get up there, crawling through the attic bit, crawling like army crawling through the ladder bit because you can't stand
You're
up.
not army crawling.
You can't stand up. You can't. No, it's not. You're
just regular crawling.
You're regular crawling.
Regular
but
crawling.
You can't stand up in there. And I was like, man, what is this area? And I did turn around and I'm like, hey, do you want to play up in this random area? And you were like, babe, this is the orgy room, and there's only one small way in and out of this joint.
Yeah, so if we got orgified, we'd be fucked. I mean, literally and figuratively.
So if like people come up there like the creepy dude and the unsuspecting Belgium lady, then there'd be no escape.
Yeah, there would be. I'd fucking rabbit chew my way through the grassy roof.
Anyway, so we go back down. And there's a little area off the Rabbit Warren area that's a room.
Hey, you've got me imagining his dick. Thank you for that.
With a chair that looked quite fun to play in, and I was like, "Ooh, I love a fucking piece of furniture."
That wasn't a chair, dude. You are so bad with your naming convention today.
It was like a fucking chair.
It wasn't a chair. It was like it looked like a piece of gym equipment. It was definitely sexually focused, but it was like a sexually focused gym equipment. You get a workout whilst getting fucked.
It was in this little room on its own, and it had a Hitachi just swinging from the roof. Do you remember that?
Held up there was a little area that it sat in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little caged area.
Yeah.
But yes, it was swinging from the roof, yes.
Yeah, yeah. We were going to play in that room, and then we turned around to just like triple check the other rooms out to see if we've made our room decision appropriately.
I mean, you did, because I wasn't involved in this at all, because I did not give a fuck.
And then I turned around and there was some having sex in the area that I wanted to have sex in.
Bastards.
I know, the bastards. Anyway, so we end up finding an area to play with. We play together. I'm sucking. Actually, do you remember any of that play?
Yeah, you were sucking my cock.
Okay, well, carry
With
on
back
then,
bob.
because I was facing the wall, so maybe...
Good blowjob whilst watching people walk past. Actually, a lot of people stopped and watched.
I was going to say, do you want to explain that to people who maybe haven't been to a club before?
Inspired by my penis. No, so you were... I mean, you're dressed in lingerie at this point, which means that the way you were facing actually basically your whole ass and probably quite a significant portion of your pussy was facing toward the door. So I'm fairly sure that people were stopping for that, not to witness me rolling my eyes back into my head going, "Wah." It's not what people are looking for. But anyway, good, very, very good blowjob was happening. And then people kept walking past. One of the things that actually made this play less fun for me is that I was concerned that that couple would walk past and then come in. That actually, so I kept not thinking about what was actually happening and kept looking to make sure that these fuckers weren't coming in. which is not a cool thing. Like it really takes away from the whole sexiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that, and then you were giving me a head job, and then actually we turned around, it turned you into the dog position, and you were facing still against the wall, and we started fucking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was rather nice.
So the interesting thing about the area that we were having sex in was that there's small peepholes, like smaller peepholes, and then there's a big doorway. But we were elevated too. We actually had to climb up 3 stairs to get into this little kind of cubby hole area, and so it had this little archway to get into there. And so we're playing. So after I'm sucking Daryl's cock and he's watching everybody, and it's all fine and dandy, and then we're fucking. We stop, and as you said, there was like people coming and going, people stopping and looking.
I came. I don't know. Did you come? I don't think you did. Did you? You did. Okay.
But there was a dude that actually a couple.
I wonder whether I cared. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I did. I was sorry. I was just checking my internal monologue.
There was a couple that actually came into this little cubby area.
Yeah,
and
two couples actually
played in the area.
2 couples.
Yeah, there wasn't. But the first couple is what I want to focus on.
Yeah.
So there was 2 stairs up to get into this little area, and then the beds, and a little archway door area. And the first couple that came in, like we went in and we went off to the side because the only way in and out of this place.
Yeah, so you're about to complain about the fact that the second couple came in and laid basically in front of the door.
They did lie in front. His feet were dangling off the little ledge because he was a tall Dutchman. Dude,
when you got to get shit done, it happens where you lie.
Yeah, but I was trying to crawl out of there with my pussy and stuff.
With your pussy? You were going to take it with
some cleanup, and this guy's feet are there, and I'm like, dude, either my pussy's going on your feet before I get out of here.
Just drop it on the feet. Just up his shin, just like Snail Charlie's shin.
So how do you feel about it? Did you look at that whole situation and be like...
I didn't give a shit, actually.
Yeah, it drove me mental. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, Swingers Club etiquette.
There is no way I'm going to make it back to the lockers with this dude in the way.
That's what I was thinking. How can I make the shortest distance between where I am right now and the lockers?
All in all, it was a pretty weird play session for me because there was... it was weird because I was constantly looking for that dude. Then that couple came in and look, I didn't really find them interesting either, nor the second couple that came in. And yeah, it was kind of weird just looking out the door, fucking you. No, sorry, looking into the wall, fucking you. It was kind of weird.
Okay.
Didn't really.
Let's talk about lessons learned. Would you have rather than if we positioned ourselves in more of the group open area rather than that little cubby house?
No, I had no problem with the cubby house. It's just, there was a few things lined up there that made it awkward. Yeah.
Okay.
The people, the first guy, the annoying guy, and then just the other couples were not really my fit, and I wasn't really feeling it because my head was trying to figure out whether this creepy dude was going to start fucking running into the room.
So on the way out of there, I tagged Daryl with the doors because they were like those Western style.
Fucking hell.
What are they called? What are those doors called?
Fuck. Saloon doors.
Saloon doors.
Fucking hell, did you tag me with it? I had a bruise on my arm and a fucking indent in my arm for like a week and a half afterward.
Yeah.
Fuck, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
What would you say about the type of people that attended, like rough age, like rough physique?
I think it's a reasonable spread. This is where it gets interesting, I think, in Europe, is that the spread seems to be a lot wider than what we've seen in the US.
Okay. Elaborate on that, please.
I think it seems to start in late 20s, early 30s is really where people are starting to come along to these events, and it stretches through right a long way into 60s, even 70s. Mm-hmm. But people also take... the Dutch are very tall and thin generally, very fucking tall.
Yeah.
I'm 6'1.5" or 186, somewhere between 3 and 6 centimeters, and I'm average fucking height here. There are some really tall motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And the women are very tall as well.
Yeah.
So they're very tall, generally very fit, and that's because they ride fucking bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
So they eat a fuck ton of cheese, but they stay pretty fit because they ride to work.
So you're saying
that
there is no average age because of the fact that there's
not really. I think it's a pretty broad spread. I think there of course there's an average. But I think the average is probably 5 to 7 years younger than what we've seen in the US.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, the people are probably generally thinner and taller, and that's just, I think, part of the the local
Yeah.
nature of the genetics that are here. Fucking tall.
Think about the width
damn.
of the playrooms and the general area.
There's going to be a lot of feet poking off beds.
The width of the playroom, walking areas, and the various playroom kind of nooks and crannies.
It is definitely not a disability happy place.
No.
There's no way in fuck anyone that is in any way.
No, it's quite an
handicapable
ableist place, that one.
Yeah. It is not even remotely. So if you are in that situation, then this would not be a club for you.
No.
You wouldn't even make it into the ground floor. Actually,
You can't.
You
There's
can't
stairs.
because there's stairs to get in. So it's a little less inclusive in that regard, for sure.
And would you say that if you were a larger individual, would you say that you could comfortably maneuver your way around the playrooms?
I think you'd have trouble. I mean, the halls are generally probably 2.5 feet wide. So what's that?
No idea.
That's 600 millimeters wide. So it's not wide. They're quite narrow.
Yeah.
They're quite narrow. Yeah. So it's a club that's built for the Dutch. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is.
it is.
Generally very, very thin, very tall.
Yeah.
Man, they'd be
Maneuverability in terms of like stairs and stuff like that. You know, they can obviously.
Well, yeah, this is the other thing, right? I mean,
'Cause it's quite common here.
Yeah, the stairs here, all the stairs here, just about all of them, except public stairs or anything in a house, they're just cliffs. They're not fucking staircases. Yeah. I mean, you don't get a full foot on any stair in any house in the Netherlands.
The bed hoppers are coming to visit us in like 3 weeks'
It's
time.
going to be hilarious. We'll have to catch them at some point, no doubt.
I think we might have to leave Mrs. H lying down
Mrs. H,
sleeping in the lounge room at one point in time.
There's no doubt at some point during the time they're here, I'm going to have to catch Mrs. H at the bottom of the staircase.
Yeah.
Which I'm not averse to, I might add.
We got you, girl. She's like, get your hands off my goodies. I'm just protecting you. It's fine.
With that in mind, I think interestingly here, because my parents visited recently, and what we found is that for people who are similar ages to my parents here, they have a lot more strength in terms of leg strength for getting up and down stairs and also biking, right? Balance-wise, strength-wise.
Yep.
So I think there's generally a higher level of longevity of fitness.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's very few people drive cars here regularly. Like the cars are weekend toys. That's it, really.
Yeah.
Except if you have a long way to drive for work. But otherwise people bike and train.
So I liked the club. I mean, everything we've gone through.
It was lovely.
I actually did like this club.
We were. I don't think we were in the right. I certainly wasn't in the right headspace for this club.
No,
didn't feel great going into it.
I think if we go back, though, I think we'll definitely be a little bit more.
If that couple's there,
flirty.
I'm just going to fucking punch them, fucking push them out the door. No, I won't do.
So let's actually take a moment to talk about lessons learned then, because that's something I really do want to talk about, where people often talk about how to reject somebody. But realistically, you generally only tend to reject somebody if they're actually making a pass at you. He didn't make a pass at us at all, at any point in time, really.
Are you fucking serious?
Okay, well,
Jesus.
run me through that then, because I just thought it was annoying.
You're just flirt immune, aren't you?
I just thought it was annoying.
He was
I thought
pressing his body up against you at the bar. I mean, he was in your personal space.
He was in my personal space, yeah.
From the moment we saw him, every time we saw him, he was inside your personal space.
So
every time.
How would you reject this individual then who's doing this?
It was actually getting to the point of annoyance for me, and I'm not normally the person who does the rejecting, right? That's normally you. Mm-hmm. It was getting to the point for me where I was going to say, dude, look, we're not interested. Please just leave us alone.
Yeah. I mean, to be quite honest, and we will generally tend to say like, hey, you don't have to have sex with people, but you can have conversations with people and everything. But I didn't even want to do that.
No,
with this guy.
No, actually, you quite literally turned your back to him at the bar, and he still kept talking to you and still kept trying to touch you. And that is, it was actually getting to the point for me that it was pissing me off.
Yeah. There's so much background noise in this podcast. It is what it is at this point. Yeah, so if somebody was doing that again, like what would your advice be to somebody else to how to get rid of this person?
Just tell them to fuck off.
No, I'm serious. And then carry on having your night, because you've just admitted to the fact that
the
it
problem
impacted your entire evening.
It did, but the problem is these things build, right? It wasn't that the first time we got away from him and then it didn't happen again.
Yeah, because it was probably, what would you say, three times.
There was 4 times that we ran into them. because we ran into them in the halls in the playrooms as well. I don't know whether you remember that. We literally ran away from the cleanup area beside the playroom to get away from them.
Yeah.
Right. So the problem is the build.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. So by the time you get to the point where you want to tell them, and actually it's just him, honestly.
Yeah.
Tell him that you're not, that you're in no way interested. It's late enough in the night. It's already spoiled your night anyway.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to change that.
Right.
So
you don't know at the beginning, like that first interaction, you don't know that he's going to be a hassle.
Exactly.
But should you have done something at the second interaction? Not you, I mean us collectively.
I mean, again, it's the build, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't, the first couple of times he was annoying, but not a challenge. You know, you can just not push him away, but, you know, body language and lack of interaction thrust him in another direction.
Yeah.
But it's each time that continues to happen, you get less and less tolerant
I
to
agree.
that individual.
Hence why the fourth time I turned my back on him, which I would normally never do to an individual.
Yeah. Because
that is so rude.
Yeah. So no, that's the problem there. It's you can't. The lesson is that you're going to have nights where somebody fucks it up.
Yeah.
That's the lesson. Because I don't think you're not going to make that call on the very first conversation, because you may never see them again for that night.
Yeah.
You know,
and then I think on that first interaction, it's probably a little bit, I don't know, arrogant in some way, shape, or form.
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
If I had my time again, I would have happily told him to go away.
Okay.
But again, you don't know that unless it's hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're just going to, look, there's been more than one time where my first line's not been a fucking,
corker.
a corker. So there's certainly a few people out there I know that are like, oh, this guy's a bit of a fucking dickhead.
Mm-hmm. Only
to be proven totally wrong, because I am a fucking legend. Kate's just nodding slowly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a lesson there to be learned other than to say, well, hey, sometimes you have nights where they're not perfect, and sometimes other people can drive that. That's not really something you can always deal with.
Okay, so then would your lesson learn and advice be then don't...
I just gave it to you.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying so your thing is like you can't, sometimes you're just going to have shit at nights, so would your thing be like, and then just don't get angry about it
just
after you leave?
Just embrace it. Say la vie. Life is sometimes like that, right? I mean, if it was all fucking rainbows and lollipops, then computers would be doing everything and we'd just be sitting on a beach or in a hotel room masturbating.
Jerking it off against the walls.
Jerking it off?
Rubbing it off against the walls.
What? Why is there an it in the middle?
No, babe.
You just jerk off, rub off. I mean, there's no...
Right. So anyway, that was our...
No. Coming back to it.
Yeah,
why? No.
Yeah.
I mean, why is that there?
What?
Why are you bastardizing the English/Australian language?
I think we all know that Australians don't actually have a language.
Yes, we do. It's called Australian. Unlike the British, we left the AU years ago. Huh? What do you think?
That was pretty good.
That wasn't bad.
That was not bad.
I think only our British friends will get that, though. Everybody else will be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So that was our time here at the club in the Netherlands. I'm looking forward to and would love to go back. So we will let you know how that goes. If anybody comes at us the same way that couple did.
Imagine it's the same couple again.
Oh, it'll just be like,
dude,
no.
Fuck off. I'll drop my broadest Australian accent. Be like, dude, just fuck off.
And I'll be like, you know what I'll do? I'll just, if we're in line in front of them, I'll just tell the hostess to give them key number 330. That'll really fuck with their night. So guys, that has been
nice callback, babe.
Thanks, babe.
Nice callback.
That has been the Fun4Two Swingers Club in the Netherlands.
Oh, fuck. I can't wait to get back to that locker room.
I know, right?
It's going to be amazeballs.
Hey, patrons, new patrons, if you guys want to see photos and come with us on that tour of the locker room, if you guys, for our newest patrons here, if you guys are in the Netherlands,
not the old ones, I mean,
and want to come and visit the lockers with us, just let us know. So big shout out and thank you to Teddy, Fritz, Chris, David, J&J, Darren, Matthew, Matto. Thank you very much.
How come I don't get to give them all Australian?
Okay, go quickly, Teddy.
Oh, that's
Ted
a tough one. No, because Teddy's already like, you'd go with Teddy, right?
Okay.
Or you'd just call him Paddington.
Okay. Paddo.
No, it'd end up at Paddo, yeah. But it'd start with Paddington.
Right, so Teddy or now called Paddo.
Because of Teddy.
Fritz?
Bear. Fritz.
See, I'd say I'd just be like, fucked.
What?
Because it's on the Fritz.
No, he'd end up be calling Broken, and it'd be Brokeback Mountain. That's where you'd end up with it.
Chris? Yeah, what you got?
Chris. I knew a Chris. We called him Bear, but, you'd have to know why. You'd have to Yeah, because he was a big orange bear.
Hey, Chris from Patreon, if you want to send me a DM and let me know what your nickname is, that'd be tops.
You better send us a photo, then I'll give you an
Then you get your Australian name.
It could be bear, it could be penguin.
Okay. Next one's easy. David.
Davo.
Okay. I know these people, but you don't, and I'm not going to share their name because their initials are J&J.
Oh, so, well, I mean, J&J is a pretty good one as well. We'd just call you Band-Aids.
Band-Aids?
Yeah, because Johnson & Johnson makes Band-Aids.
Darren?
Dazza.
Dazza.
Hey, you and I share the same name there, big fella.
Dazza.
Or Dags.
Dags? Yeah.
Which is, for those of you out there who don't know.
Just Google it.
No.
Go on. Now Google Kiwi Dags.
Why Kiwi Dags?
Because, all the sheep.
But I don't think Kiwis call them Dags.
Oh. Anyway, and the last one is Matthew.
Matto.
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 There you go, guys. So thank you very much if you're one of our new patrons. I hope that you enjoyed the Honey Birdette lingerie photos. What do you think of them, Daryl?
They went all right.
They were all right?
You go all right for an old cracker.
I spent €250 on...
Fuck me.
Thank you. That was your money, by the way. I spent €250 of Daryl's money on new Honey Birdette lingerie, and I've been slowly posting photos up on on a Patreon. So, and I'm going to do some on-location shots next week. So anyway,
cool.
I think that's enough, eh?
I mean, is anything going to recoup the 250 fucking euro? That's where I'm at the moment.
If you see me on the corner in lingerie, just chuck me a $5 or something, eh?
Better start with a 50.
So anyway, guys, that has been episode 150. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye, baby. Goodbye.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bye.